So hello everybody, and welcome back to some beautiful WARNO action as it is time for Season 5. And we have our first Division 1 match here coming up, and I'm once more joined by the lovely Chloride.
Hello, everybody. It is the great time of the year when the nights are starting to get cold, but your apartment still has not put the heating up. So you can imagine how excited I am at getting into some heat in here.
Yeah, and we have Nocturna versus Bendover here as the first game, and we now can just look at what they banned. So let's talk a bit about that, as the bans. First of all, these guys don't want to play any new maps. All the new maps banned. We had Vertigo, Kryder, and Black Forest left. We get Vertigo and Kryder here in this game. And then Bendover is still on his America only train, and Nocturna knows about it. So we have 82nd, 101st, and 3rd US banned. And on the other side, old school S tier bands, 2nd UK, 56, and DivMob banned. And then we got 11th ACAV versus 1st Tankova match here. So this should be pretty fun.
Yeah, especially the first matchup here with the Tankova Divice and 11th Armored. I think this is going to be a nice little trial by fire for the Southak T72, the Czech T72 specifically, as going against M1A1 Abramses is such a massive uphill battle to fight with these mediocre medium tanks compared to like the top MBTs of the Americans. So Nocturna here is gonna have to prove that they can actually outscale the aggro Abramses. And on Vertigo, of course, this being a traditional all-in map, this is it is kind of limits the actual zone of conflict into a very safe and well-tread area around Anna and Boris down south. But Bendover, like Bendover's opener here, kind of just seems to be a standard recon heavy. They still have not put up any tanks here. I think the number of Abramses in the opener is going to be very like determining if this is actually going to be an aggro play as you can do with 11th, or if Bendover is actually going to start try to exploit the technological advantage by immediately turtling, taking long-range defenses with the Bradleys, and then trying to get a number of M1A1s. The bombers, especially the cluster bombers for the Czechoslovaks, are not that great. They drop too high, they're too easy to avoid. So first, Tankova Division doesn't necessarily have the kind of removal assets that you've had with the dive bombers and great AT planes in other pack divisions.
Yeah, and last week I would have said this is heavily favored towards first Tankova, but the Czechoslovaks got a pretty heavy nerf on their Motostreltsy and the BMP-1 and the Dana, so the balance here is pretty good, I would say, between these divisions and in WARNO in general right now. BMP-1's going 5 points up, Motostreltsy with the double MG going 5 points up. All of that made a good sense, and now these units are in a decent place. T-72S is here with the Severe. They can hold out nicely against the Bradleys. They can keep maybe a M1A1 at bay, but they won't be able to kill it most likely with those missiles unless Bendover messes up big time. And that's going to be the problem. If the M1A1 numbers can get out of control, then the Czechs will struggle to keep them in check.
Yeah, the Czechs are much like the Polish. They also lead with a number of special forces recon squads, half of which have a ground surveillance radar, half of which don't. And these are what I like to call the ships, the SHBZ, in this case, the radio ships coming in. And unlike the Polish, these are 6-man squads, and they don't deploy with the amazing Honker so they don't get the fastest possible deployment. But on the other hand, they can also 2-man just for fighting, and survivability is pretty significant. And we're seeing Nocturna is going only with 1 ships, only with the 1 recon unit for the southern area as a whole. And it is kind of this defensive stealthy infantry pick right into the corner there, maybe looking to try to fight off an expected all-in. But meanwhile, most of the reinforcers for Bendover are actually going into the middle, trying to use the air coverage of the AA Kiowas, as well as the forward deploying recon Abrams, the ACAV, in trying to maybe prevent the Czechs from getting into the citadel, into the fortress area in the middle. And that is also where Nocturna has invested most of their actual attack. And interesting to see that both sides immediately are going and trying to get this area that does not give you any zones, doesn't give you any points, but is immensely tactically important.
Yeah, and Iltis here gets the capture at the same time as the BMP-1 does on the other side, so both sides here capturing the rear zones. The fight in the north, pretty equal footing there as well. A good couple of good recon units from Bendover, one BMP-2 with Moto Recon getting into the town, so Nocturna actually inside of it. But Bendover now following all of that up with some CEVs and some mech rifles for the north, whilst the first investment for Nocturna goes up there as well, Motostrels and the BMP-1. So both sides slowly escalating the fight up there, but the fight in the middle is going to be the key factor. M1A1 here, not able to get the shot out. BMP-2 smokes in time. Now the Severes have to be smoked off. M1A1 does that in time as well, as the two T-72Ss here try to find some missile shots. We have the BMP-2 from the north trying to get onto the M113, does get the kill there. Jaguars coming around in numbers here. Don't get the kill against the BMP, but the BMP gets stressed out, so it won't get the kill back either. Milan 2 here getting involved in the south. Gets hit against the T-72, that's a good one. Jaguar in trouble here. Doesn't get killed, but gets heavily damaged. M1A1 not able to get into a good spot yet. And the Jaguar here desperately trying to get out of there with the good frontal armor, at least able to survive the autocannon fire there for a while. But the Severes keeping away the M1A1 is a problem here for Bendover.
Yeah, the Nocturna going in for these elite tanks. This is two vetted up cards of T-72Ss, which means that this is hugely important slots wise. You do get a lot of slots and a lot of cards in first Tankova. But with these T-72s here, if these things get into a bad engagement, that's a lot of Nocturna's early tempo just gone. And the bad engagements, the engagements need to be built so carefully to allow for the Svir to actually put the Americans into bad positions. The Mod Pruskumnichi in the middle here is very important in trying to spot the Jaguars, spot any recon vehicles, and allow the T-72Ss to do their job. And so far, with Nocturna actually managing to get a kind of practical control of the northern area of Dimitri, Bendover's reinforcements are going up north. They are going to be avoiding the T-72Ss, instead trying to go hit that group of 3 BMP-2s.
Yeah, the BMP-1s and BMP-2s here moving around, trying to go through the open field. M1A1 actually maybe could even just face check that, but it doesn't have smoke right now, so it doesn't want to get caught off by a crit or so staying out of there from Bendover's perspective is fine right now. 50 cal and infantry keeps the center in check, but good take there so far from Nocturna. Dana coming out, auto-loaded artillery on the long ranges, not that accurate though. So struggling a bit killing the Milan 2, but still might get it on the way out. No, Milan 2 does survive. Dana now 230 points, so price-wise not as efficient as it had been in the past. And M1A1 here rotating back south, will try to reload its smoke, and then maybe do some damage together with Jaguar before the T-72s here can take out all the fire support. Milan 2 could come forward in a second here maybe again. M1A1 and Jaguar getting involved. T-72S does smoke off. Motostreltsy is in the center, slowly getting reduced. And the M1A1 here now pushing forward. Does miss.
Three vehicles in the targeting, the Bradleys, the Jaguars on the long ranges, and the Abrams and the Jaguar on the close ranges. This is heavily outnumbered here. The recon advantage of the Pruskumnichi does allow the T-72s some leeway here, and they have been getting pretty good spotting for the moment, but just no good engagements here. Bendover microing this very well, just doing some free damage. Third T-72S veteran has arrived now to support, but with the Milan 2 repositioning, taking another hit on that very expensive expensive tank that still is going to lose head-on against an Abrams.
Jaguar goes down though. Milan 2 changed to focus fire, but the A10 is coming around, gets one hit. Can it get the second one? Yes, it can. Osas will get the revenge kill, but 2 T-72S is down. That is really big. Yeah, Milan 2 still around here, helping out against BMP1s. The Jaguar and Bradley from the north will stop that push. The Milan 2 does go down, but the M1A1 here has a bit of time to recuperate and then maybe come around again. Cyanide being brought back up. We have another M1A1 in the north. We don't have that many forces there for Nocturna. Nocturna holds the area, but Bendover has brought so many forces up there. Oh, M1A1 doesn't get side-shotted. The ATGM would have hit the side armor, but it does miss last second there, only getting a stun. Good Bradley position in the south from Bendover. And yeah, this is where it starts to get scary for Nocturna, because now he lost his push power with the 2 T-72s gone. And if Bendover is now allowed to get tick by tick one more M1A1 here on the battlefield, and then he has like 3, 4, 5 of them, then killing those off will become harder and harder here. And as you said, his air tap not really doing it, so he has to do it with the artillery and the ground units.
Yeah, Nocturna here obviously wants to keep up the attack tempo, the momentum, even though that A10 did a horrible job. 2 cheap T-72Ms. These are the E2 variants, which are different from the E3 variants by not having any smoke, still keeping up the tradition of veteran C2 armor, which I'm interested in, and hope to see actually kind of become a subcategory of armored play. In any ways, 3 Motostrelci in BMP1s, also trying to get there, nowhere near as efficient as they used to be just a few weeks ago. Now only a moderately priced squad. Considering they have double MGs, I think it's pretty fair. But the BMP1s are gonna go out there, and their only is really with the LRS and the Bradley fighting this off. And I think with artillery support, it's not that difficult for Nocturna to actually apply pressure.
Dana is on top of the M1A1, does get the kill there. This is a key kill here. Might enable some pushes in the south. There is not that much defense here. There is another M1A1 being called in, but it is not here yet. It's only a shadow. This unit is still all the way back here. The one from the north maybe could rotate back south. It does so right now. It needs to get back here. As the Bradley is under fire now as well. Jaguar not around just yet. Bradley has to smoke off here ASAP. Does get a kill against the BMP2, but BMP1's coming in. MiG-23 hunting down the helicopter. Doesn't get the kill. OHs and the iHawk keep the Cyanide safe. This is pretty big. Osa, though, can deal with that relatively efficiently. But Cyanide here with the TOW2 for now stays around. M1A1. Oh, has to show front armor. Doesn't get hit. Lucky M1A1 there. 2 misses there off the missiles. Jaguar not quite in position. The Bradley goes down, though. This is escalating quickly now. We see Bendover taking over the north. There's no real force there to stop him. And Nocturna at the same time rotated the forces down south. The 2 T-72s here now coming in the south, realizing that he would be too late to get back into the north. And he's now going for an all-out push here. And I think that's the right choice. The northern situation is too tough to go back there. You have to win it here now with the M1A1 down before more of them can arrive on the front line. And I think there's a chance that this might work. But the recon situation is terrible for Nocturna.
Yeah, this is there is just too much stuff here for Nocturna not to attack right now. Every second waiting just increases the likelihood of another A10 or another Abrams showing up. Now, getting out there, and the LRS are on return fire, so they have not fired their weaponry. Oh, they're targeting T-72s and letting the BMP-1s getting in unmolested. And now 3 squads of infantry are out there. Sea Knights have 38 missiles, which is enough to maybe kill 1 infantry squad if microed well, and only 4 TOW2 missiles, 2 of which are left. So even that is not going to be a full-on stop to this attack. Managing to suppress pretty well the T-72s. Nocturna sending in one of the cheaper fighters to dive it. getting tagged by the air defenses. There is an Eyehawk, one card of Eyehawks for 11th, which is a pretty nice card if you want to play that division slowly, which is what I think is happening here.
Yeah, and BMP1s and T-72s here now pushing forward again. Jaguar got killed, but the T-72s start to suffer here quite big as well. And the next M1A1 has arrived just as the other one is down to 2 hit points. But next M10, oh, can it get the kills? No, it gets taken out before getting any kills. Good defense here from Nocturna. This is really a fight on the knife's edge from both sides. T-72S is here kind of stranded, and the Mech Rifle Dragons and the reinforced M1A1 here doing a good job holding this out, but in the south, BMPs and infantry at least making it into the town. The CEV shouldn't be able to hold this. T-72s should be able to move forward soon. BMP2 infantry coming up, another T-72S being brought out. The Dana currently not firing. Big mistake in my eyes from Nocturna. That could have killed off the M1A1, or at least stopped it from repairing further. But now the infantry push here coming in for the southern zone. We don't have any reinforcements on the ground right now. Bendover maybe over-investing a bit into air. F-16, F-16 seat being bought, and he got the OSAS off the field, but he doesn't have anything to follow this up with right now, whilst his ground in the south is completely empty. Outside of that cyanide, and I guess that's the calculation, that now without the OSAS, nothing is there to stop that. T-72S M gets hit here once more. M1A1 pushing forward again. The T-72s are all having to disengage. Motostreltsy here try to push forward, but the M1A1 does spot them, gets one of them killed. BMP2 not able to get the ATGM out in time. Likely gonna go down here. 2 BMP2s down. That's not something you can afford in this position as Nocturna. And it might look like Nocturna is getting stranded here in this forest, and the M1A1 number might be able to recover.
Yeah, currently there are ground reinforcements coming with the Jaguar and some Panzergrenadiers, but it's only a matter of time before Bendover realizes that there is no air defense currently. The NOSA and a what is the S10? What do we call it generally? Standard infrared anti-air defense system are coming in to try to help Nocturna's defenses here, but this is just as soon as Bendover gets some good ground recon to spot, this is a turkey shoot here. There is just so much infantry that even though pretty efficient at holding ground right now, because 11th Horse does not have a lot of infantry, it's not going to be able to leave. There is no supply for it. There are very few actual ATGMs, infantry ATGMs, infantry recon units. Everything just needs to be. Nocturna is not in a position to really do anything, and I think that's pretty bad if you are relying on this low buildup with efficient units in numbers. Just look at the reinforcements coming in for Bendover. Bendover knows that this is the moment to just safely build up.
Yeah, Martyrs coming in, a lot more infantry coming in. The M1A1's back to full strength. If that second M1A1 would have fallen, I think the situation here would still be manageable. One single M1A1 you can kill off with a big plane strike, or just isolate and then maybe push through with the T-72s. No. Oh! T-72S though goes down there. I'm not even quite sure what happened there.
The cyanide.
Yeah, but it was a frontal hit, right? Like, how did that just...
I think it was barely. You see, there's the turn on the road there, where it turns a little bit left. That happened as the missile struck it.
Yeah, this is terrible news. Oh no, Osa here driving into the Bradley as well. Disengaging now, but the Bradley giving all that recon. So powerful here as well. The T-72Ss here coming up again. Martyrs even pushing forward here now. Realizing that, yeah, with the T-72S gone and the T-72M gone as well, there might not be enough tanks here on the other side to really hold this anymore. We see some M109s as well on the battlefield, and the Dana just hasn't fired enough in the last couple of minutes in my eyes. Like, that really could have done a good bit more difference here in these fights. Maybe stand on the Bradley in the south, maybe kill off one of the M1A1s, or at least stop them from repairing. But it seems like Nocturna kind of has forgotten about it. The T-72Ss here at least will stop the infantry from getting back into the town easily. As this BMP-1 will start to get the capture here, but Bendover already had in points. He just needs to hold the status quo. And M109s, Jaguars, and co. all coming in here. So Nocturna needs to get some important kills here to get the momentum back. And that's going to be tough with Bendover's quality of play.
Yeah, Bendover just building a massive concave with the Green Archer and LRS providing best possible spotting capacity here. Bunch of Marders and Abramses doing the fire support role, and Sea Knight making sure that anything that gets accidentally spotted can easily be moved into quickly. The anti-air is not in the tree line, and now it is moving close. But the Sea Knight has been just completely allowed to trade up. Another fighter plane, surprisingly, here coming in, maybe to check out the situation with the air defenses. Yeah, Seed coming in right behind it, trying to bait out some OSA kills.
Yeah, we have the S10Ms here, the Strellas on the battlefield, OSA under fire by some Milans here as well. The T-72s have been pushed back once more. M1A1 taking a 1v1 fight against the T-72S. That's what you want. OSA goes down to the seat. And Dana still not firing. We see some mortars here trying to get a smoke screen, and with more infantry
no.
around, that might be helpful. But the bailout happens. That T-72S is toast, and with that, likely the chances of going anywhere here. As now we're down to 2 T-72Ss. We have 2 M1A1s and a lot more fire support here. The BMP1s, the BMP2s, all gone. And the air in control of the blue player here as well. A really strong show here from Bendover in this game number 1, showing his flexible defense, the way how you are supposed to play 11th ACAV, and Nocturna gets beaten here.
Yeah, this is. I was interested. I was looking through the bans where Nocturna banned the 82nd and the 101st Airborne, and I'm thinking that that kind of veteran tank with regular infantry, kind of early aggro strategy could probably work pretty decently against like 82nd Airborne, and or even maybe not as well, but against Third Armored. Interested that 11th was allowed to get through, and a bunch of infantry divisions got banned here. I think that may have been a little bit of a mistake from Nocturna's part. I believe that. Am I correct in saying that they pick the divisions first or the maps first?
They picked. It's in the order that you see there on the top. So they
Okay, so
ban
the
the
map is
maps. They ban
Yeah.
the maps, then they ban the divisions, and then
Okay.
they pick a map and then pick divisions.
Yeah, I think maybe like just Vertigo and 11th Armored. They're such a. It is the all-in map. We saw how seamlessly and immediately 11th Armored could just abuse its strengths, its ability to bring out an early Eyehawk, its ability to have a goddamn forward deploying recon Abrams, and the fact that the Bradleys are just perfect T-72 killers. There was constantly from the first attacks or after the first attacks, there was just nowhere near enough recon for the T-72Ss to actually use their missiles as they were intended to. Of course, that massive tempo hit by the A10 attack, but also just consistently not having the air defenses as close to the front as possible. I mean, that helicopter, the AH-10 Sea Knight, could just get a bunch of free kills, even though there were 2 mobile anti-air units a few hundred meters behind it. I think Nocturna maybe just allowing 11th Horse to go through, and then allowing 11th Horse to just use these tools and trying to force 11th Horse into those fights was not going to happen. Just it had too good recon, too good tanks.
Yeah, and the game number 2 is going to be a quite different one here. First of all, because now with these rules, you can't pick the same division twice anymore. And also because Kreider with 2 light divisions should give us a pretty different picture as well, as we have 6 US infantry versus 4th Zmech here on the side of Nocturna, and I'm pretty excited for that as well, as we're gonna be able to see how that division can hold up against potential air spam here, or how I always like how Bendover plays 6, so I'm pretty excited for this as well. It's not the Fortitude Fence, just air spam, it's a bit more versatile. I'm pretty excited how Nocturna will tackle that. So quick break, guys, and then we're going to be back with game number 2. So here we return. Game number 2. Bendover on the left side with 6 US. What's Nocturna on the right side, coming around with the 4th Zmech. And before we jump in here into this game, one quick shout out to the Mjblair and the Fantasy League. First of all, Fantasy League guys, we already have a couple of teams signed up here, and you can pick your Fantasy League team as well. Just DM your picks to FatKit. The way it works is you have 400 points of budget. You can spend it on buying the players, and then for each map win they get, they will gain you points, and whoever has the most points collected by their players in the end will win the Fantasy League, and with that also will win a SDL mug this season, which I have physically standing next to me here right now, that I will ship to you. And then the second thing that we have going is the Mjblair, where you can support the tournament price, and we are already at $327, guys, because you guys are absolutely crazy. And especially crazy is Mr. Mjblair having $250 into the prize pool. So we are nearly at the same prize pool as we had been last season. And that is kind of insane to me. But thanks for the support, guys. As last season we were at 340 at the end. Now we are at 327 at day 1. Let's see how far we can push it. If we push it to $1,000, I'm going to do another 24-hour stream. If we push it to 500, I will get a Cold War uniform for the finals cast. So let's get it going, guys, and let's get back into the game here.
Protoss, Nocturna Southeast deployment. Look at the tanks. Have we ever seen this before? Such a dedicated full-on investment into 2 Merida coffin launchers.
Ooh, boy. This is going to be sexy. The
Hell
double
yeah.
coffin. Yeah, this is also the perfect zone for it. Like, you always can pin the enemy infantry in there. And obviously, the enemy is going to start with good infantry here as 8-6 US. That is worthwhile coffin launchering. And yeah, we have double Navy SEALs here. Oh, this could be brutal.
Yeah, the Navy SEALs, like the perfect target and also the perfect unit for Bendover to invest there. That's a very heavy investment. But the lack of actual heavy tanks and a lack of BMP2s especially is why 4th Zmech is not going the highway route, going through Fedor to Dmitry, which is the other one of the standard aggro paths here. Just not good enough mech. Better invest into infantry and wide front line is what it seems to be here for Nocturna. Nocturna, of course, playing the S tier division, the Polish mech, the cheapest, the fastest, the most efficient traditionally. And now with the BMP ones slightly nerfed, nowhere near as overpowered. At 30 points, garbage. At 25 points, perfect.
Yeah, and we have T-55As, we have a couple BMP-1s for the north. Those are pretty annoying mech to overcome here for the infantry of Bendover as well. And we have, yeah, the Navy SEALs, we have the Airborne Dragon, and it was first pick 6 US, and then counter pick 4th Zmech, so it's going to be interesting to see how Nocturna is trying to play that, if they gonna go heavy OSA balls that run around trying to kill off enemy air, or how that part of the game is going to play it. And yeah, the coffin launchers here against the infantry, if they have a success here down south, this could be a massive speed boost for 4th Zmech and just kind of allow them to steamroll over the much lighter ground forces of the 6 US.
Yeah, this could be over pretty quickly on the early game part, and then
Rospestalny already killing off a Navy SEALs. It might not even need those launchers. Big first blood there. Honkaroos doing Honkaroos things, enabling speedy advances into spaces where the enemy don't expect you. Navy SEALs will kill off the Rospestalny here, but the Honkaroos already did the damage. And the T-55 AM2 Merida coming up. We have a VADS that's good against infantry as well, but that is not good at running away from Meridas either. So this is going to be a really interesting opener here.
Yeah, ACAV managing to take out the Honkaroos, and so the spotting is done. But Sapersi Sturmovi in the front line will be able to spot the Navy SEALs. Navy SEALs are moving fast, trying to prevent deployment here, and barely the BMPs dodge the 84 launchers. And with fire actually stunning and pushing the Navy SEALs off already, bunch of Alaskan cavalry scouts and airborne infantry, but they're going to attack against numbers alone. Pretty unlikely that that's going to succeed for Bendover. Meanwhile, up north, a USMC security actually taking out a key recon unit there. Maybe a Nievosh can go and try to stop this Dragoon.
Yeah, we have a Cobra coming in south, but with the OSAs, using a helicopters is going to be tough. Navy SEALs don't really have much space to disengage here right now. And the first Merida kill here against the Alaskan Cav Scout. The Stormovi gonna kill off the Navy SEALs. They ran in directly into them. And Piotr SVD and Sapersi there, yeah, killing off the second Navy SEAL. We have an F-15 in the sky. OSA revealing itself, so Cobra at least knows what's going on there. But this is not an easy space to move into. Rospestalny in the north, helping out, killing off the Alaskan Cav Scouts. The VADS at least gets them, but there's now not much here to deal with those light tanks. And the VADS immediately under fire. Only one ITO vehicle here up there, another Humvee tow coming up. But this is the issue of the 6 US. You don't have anything with staying power.
Yeah, the ability to transition into tanks just does not exist. So even the T-55s and BMP-1s, which are generally just victims to any standard NATO tanks, they can reign supreme. And meanwhile, the ITO cars, and the ITO specifically, is an excellent weapon against all Polish mech, and any kind of transition to artillery is probably going to happen on Nocturna's part when the opportunity comes, because those Humvee toes and ITOs are going to litter the land. Merida taking out one already with a very precise coffin launcher hit, and now the only tanks, the reservist recon ACAV tanks, getting into fighting range of the technologically superior Merida.
Yeah, Merida here aiming for the next VADS here, trying to get the kill there. T55A in the middle, pushing forward. There are Pathfinders around there, which have law launchers, so they can deal with the BMP-1. They, with side shot, maybe even can do some decent damage there against the T55. Okay, they killed the BMP-1, and M48's here now getting involved against some Scott 2s in the south, but the VADS goes down. M113 ACAV here trying to hold out. T55's now pushing forward. The M48 likely gonna go down soon. Gets a Scott, but 3 T55s coming forward. The T55 in the middle kills off the Pathfinder as well. And we have a +1 for the red side, who's balling against the M48s. And this M48 doesn't have any smoke. Really one of the biggest disadvantages of these tanks, the lack of smoke. And there they go down. T55As and Meridas pushing in for the second one. That one misses a shot, gets hit heavily with the reservist trait, takes more stress damage. Now even lower chance to hit, and both go down. And there's no AT outside of Airborne Dragons down here. And the Dragon 2 just not really the AT weapon you want to rely on at this point in time.
Yeah, so far there is absolutely no map control over the middle here outside of the T55 incursion with the Pathfinders. But right now Nocturna is moving both a leader to try to contest the middle, and the middle contestation is going to work as long as Bendover cannot attack back, which at the moment looks like that's the case. So that's just 3 points for Nocturna for the moment. And Nocturna most likely is going to try to exploit this massive number of units and just try to get it up there. But first they have to go through a trial of A10s, artillery, and probably some sneaky ATGMs.
Yeah, and A10 gets an T55AM2S and one BMP-1, but gets shut down afterwards. No seat here coming around that could help out with dealing with the OSAS at the same time, so the investment there is just a bit too expensive. The seaplanes, especially the good ones, costing you 300 points, are quite hard to afford in the 6US. And yeah, now we have a tow Cobra coming around, we have a couple of flying units, and those planes potentially could swing a game around quite quickly. But 4th Zmech is so low to the ground that even if you kill a tank or two, they are easily replaced, and if you trade 1-to-1, you will be far behind with your planes being just way more expensive.
Yeah, the BMP-1s, if there are no other armored vehicles, they will reign supreme, even with the bad gun and their bad ATGMs and they're only a single machine gun. That's still better than nothing. And better than nothing is against an infantry division is hugely important. The most important trait for any vehicle is basically having range longer than the Dragon 2, and everything with a 50 cal machine gun has range longer than a Dragon 2. That's just not something you can deal with as Bendover. You cannot allow this force to build up here. Bendover needs to apply some kind of pressure, some kind of aggro, and there just is not anything to do that. Bendover is buying 2 155mm cannons here to get artillery, and artillery is good against the Polish in general because they just put out so many units. But they're completely worthless against the T-55 attack. As long as the Honker Russes and maybe the helicopters exist to give screening power to the tanks are just going to get free kills. There are 2 IHawks. There's a supply chopper. There's only a single TOW2, and it's not in position.
Yeah, Navy SEALs and M113C in the south just get completely annihilated. The T-55s even starting to find the IHawk here. Cobra at least trying to hold that off, but also immediately can come around here quickly onto the battlefield as well. as no real pushing power in the north. The infantry getting a bit stuck here. M48 trying to come around. 1 T55A goes down. Nirvash here hunting down the Cobra. And yeah, picking 6 US first pick is just pretty wild in my eyes. Like, it's a great counter pick in some matchups, but it's never a division that I would recommend first picking. And that's exactly what we saw here from Bend Over. Obviously, Bend Over, for people who didn't follow the last season, known for only playing American divisions, so the pool of his choices is way more limited, especially after picks and after bans, than for other players, because it is purely American. And yeah, with that, picking 6 US, I still think 8 US or so would have been a better choice as a first pick. Toe Cobra here moving around. We see the VD43 going down as the artillery at least gets that removed from the middle, but so much Zmech here rolling forward, and Nocturna really playing well to the strengths of the 4th mech and to the weaknesses of the 6 US.
Yeah, I think we have seen sixth being played on this map. At least I feel that. I'm not looking at the statistics right now. I feel that sixth is played pretty commonly on this map, and I think it probably has a lot to do with the Navy SEALs. There being few tree lines, and if you can fight for those tree lines early on, you can have a single Navy SEAL squad inflict a lot of damage, take care of a lot of standard infantry, and in that way you can basically get a mid game where you just keep buying air defenses and planes and ATGMs while an enemy desperately tries to recover from the early attack. But just, I mean, the coffin launcher attack was perfectly planned. There was nothing to counter it. There was no plan from Bendover against the double coffin launcher attack, followed up by even more coffin launchers at the 55A SS, the older variants. This is obviously an excellent strategy to employ against something that relies so much on these soft units.
Yeah, and the T55As and BMP1s also being not really worthwhile hitting with the heavier anti-tank units like the planes, like the TOW2s, but at the same time being able to deal with all your light infantry if engaging at the right distance, dealing with your M48s, really makes this a cost-efficient play here, whilst 8 hands just pretty overkill when trying to hit BMP1s. OSA's doing a really good job there on the air defense, but buying seaplanes against them, not cost-efficient either. And all of this here ends currently with a massive lead for Nocturna, and Bendover struggling to keep the cohesion here in this game. With the planes going down here once more, the situation in the air also not developing in their favor.
Yeah, everything Bendover is buying is like utility. We're talking long range defense, artillery, recon, nothing to actually fight this, because there are a single Abrams working together with a single recon squad could do so much damage here, but there's not a single Abrams. Now, what would have a single Abrams would be 8th US, and your reference to the decision to pick 6th here. It does really show. We're only 12 minutes in the game. As long as if you don't win the opener outright, this is kind of where sixth has to be in. On some other maps, your 2 lakes, your really straightforward stuff, there you can probably start out an infantry grind early on and then keep that grind going and force the enemy to participate. But on such a wide map as Kreide, the mechanized player just gets the right to play.
Yeah, SC-22 cluster coming in here as well, trying to get some Humvees. F-15 not even able to get a hit out. Osas and Nirvash retaliating. Last missile will miss, but did do the damage. Cluster actually getting out as well. But the whole map right now starting to look more and more red, as Nocturna is pushing over here in the middle and only a couple of ATGMs holding out there. At least the TOW2 is one-shotting T55As, but by now it's all AMs, which can take a shot and then still keep on rolling. And that is a big problem here for Bendover.
Yeah, this is a Nocturna now. Every single tank is wounded and sensing the overextension is now retreating. And yeah, somebody in chat said that there's now a concave forming, and that is correct. There is a huge blue concave for all of this Polish mech, but there's basically no units to actually exploit this. Nocturna is on the defensive here. It's +3, and there's no reason for Nocturna to keep pushing outside of just trying to win the game earlier. And Bendover's like, what is the line that Bendover can attack here? What is the area that they can cross and do an attack? Like, there should be massive smoke barrages wide enough to hold every vehicle in the middle to cover an airborne infantry attack into the mid or into Boris. That's just not really realistic here. Attacks up north could happen, but also Nocturna could just exploit this by moving units and applying pressure somewhere else. The units are not in position for Bendover to actually pressure the northern point of Gregory. Now there is an electronic warfare and a seed plane combined with the Eagle, but with no bombers in sight and also no units to exploit any kills that the bombers could do. It's looking pretty weak for Bendover. And Nocturna really just finding the right strategy, the correct execution, getting the Honker Rus there in time to exploit the fact that those Navy SEALs deploy at 90 kph. Difference doesn't maybe look that different from 100 kph, but that's what it looks like in practice. And Nocturna starting the game out of a great foot. Nievoshes kind of keeping down the threat of helicopters, and just the correct unit composition of investing very early on into the coffin launcher artillery, knowing that basically most of the standard units, whether they be Humvee TOWs or airborne infantry or Navy SEALs or LRS, all of them are extremely vulnerable to it.
Yeah, and the 155 millimeters here now trying to hunt down the AA. Osa, next target there. First Osa in the north, slightly damaged. The 810 Recon trying to find some damage from the side, but the +3 here is the big issue. Like, if this would be a 50-50 game right now, if maybe Bendover would have time to invest into air for the next 3-4 minutes, start sniping the AA, then this all could work. But 1000 point advantage already is massive on this map, and with a +3, this tick also going to end the game here in 8 minutes. And yeah, the first OSA is going down, but even if the air now kills everything, there's nothing on the ground to really follow the air advantages up. And that is a big if as is. A10 here now might fly in, starts to go in here for the first run as Osa is disengaging, doesn't get directly in there. And we have SU-22 actually hunting the A-10. We don't have any AA around outside of a Stinger to help out. SU-22 dealing good damage, not quite getting the kill, but will keep out the A-10 here for a while. The Seed will find the Osa on the ground, but the OA-10 is out for the next couple of minutes, and with only 7 minutes on the line, this is not great. Not even having this forest zone is a massive issue for Bendover. Like, if that would be his zone and he would be up against a +1 right now, this all wouldn't be so problematic. But as the lighter infantry division, not having that area is really big. The A6 Napalm not really doing all that much here. Might get the Osa killed though. No, doesn't even get that. And yeah, the vehicles just keep on pushing. The T-55s keep on coming. And this was a really clean game from Nocturna so far. And it would be needing kind of a miracle here and a big throw to turn us around, and I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, the infantry attack into the middle finally happening with the airborne dragon having moved from forest to forest and is going to be able to engage a single Merida in just a moment.
And MP1 gets hit here once more. Osa does go down. They drive into the flames again. Merida's here cutting around the flames. there is a VD-43 that could maybe move from the north, but there is finally a light rifle leader there, together with the Pathfinders and the US Marine Corps securities trying to get in there. But at the same time, with Dimitri falling, the +3 will return at that stage. And the center is still pretty decent there. We have some more ACAVs coming around. Not all that much from Nocturna in the south, but even less here from Bendover. T-55 trying to drive close enough to the dragon that it can't fire its dragon, gets the stun down there. And the airborne dragon here going to go down quite quickly as Merida and T-55 get the kill there. F-15s in the sky, not doing much. A lot of support investment from Bendover into all the air, into the artillery, and yeah, if you then take such bad losses in the frontline unit fights, then you are left with really little to actually maneuver around on the battlefield.
Yeah, like the sixth preferred fight would have been that after the Navy SEALs had secured their objectives, that is when the Navy SEALs hold the position and a large force of other anti-tank assets start building around them. When you don't have that center, when you don't have that anchor that you can use the early game infantry advantage of the Navy SEALs, sixth does look a little bit toothless here. And yeah, the airplay just has not been there at any point for Bendover. The A-10s have managed to get some kills, but that's, as you said, everything the Polish have is expendable, which is why it's so nice playing aggro with them.
Yeah, and the Merida now moving in there into the zone will make it a +4. Osa and Strela getting a kill against the A-10. This Prowler came too late. T-55 holding out against the M48s does miss, so the M48s will try to go for the win, but more and more infantry and vehicles coming around the battlefield. There we go, zone starts to get captured. Starts to go to a +4. We are only 4 minutes away right now from victory, and even if there would be a stop, it would mean that Bendover would have to take over the whole map to get the tick that would get him here in victory in 19 minutes. And he isn't going to get that. Even if he stops the timer here, he is not miraculously just going to destroy everything here within the next couple of 5-6 minutes to actually get the tick back here. T-55A going down, and yeah, the vehicles down here in the south, it's trying to do some picking up of some forces. The red units currently taking some casualties, but they already did enough work beforehand.
Yeah, USMC security trading up, getting a transported infantry unit, but there being such a no reinforcements going for the northern attack there. There's actually two of the tanks, maybe the last tanks in the deck, but even those are not moving into the back point. They're just going to try to hold the flank and the reinforcement road against with the tow cobra. Yeah, so many points are just currently flying around them on the top of the map, and none of them really. It's a mismatch. It's a mismatch here. Like Bendover was completely defanged in the opener.
Yeah, and a really good counter pick here from Nocturna. Really well executed from the get-go. The coffin launchers, the specialnies taking out enemy special forces before they could get into the good spots and so on. And yeah, really a show of why you shouldn't pick specialist divisions like 6 US as a first pick. Like, they usually are just a bit too easy to counter pick. And then, yeah, well executed here by Nocturna, and Bendover maybe not quite respecting that light mechanized push enough, or maybe just not quite knowing what to do against it.
Yeah, of course, Bendover kind of puts himself into this position by only playing the American division. So this means that it's way, way, way easier to ban him. But you would still expect. Well, I don't know. I mean, I do think that the early game was just so oppressive that I don't think there was that much to be done from Bendover's end, except to try to hope the enemy overextends and then punish it. And by the time Nocturna had that +3, just not has refused to do that all game.
Yeah. And now the last couple of seconds here ticking out. Bendover not surrendering, playing it out till the last seconds, but Nocturna is going to get the draw here. He's going to split the first game here 1-1. As we play with a best of 2 system, so if both players win a map, it's a draw in these 5-player groups. So in the end, the chances of making it to the playoffs have changed little for these two. Obviously, a win would have been better, but with 1 point on the map, on the board, you still are absolutely in the race, especially as another player also then only gets 1 point. So this is going to be an interesting group in general. They're in the American group with Team in Place as kind of the favorite, but everybody else there being able to maybe take second place. So this is going to be a really fun one.
Yeah, and I kind of with this attack, this aggro attack, I want to go back to the earlier game and the veteran T72 gameplay. I think there is potential in that. I think the T72 numbers and price and veterancy combination, if you have 2 of them and they're up-vetted, this means that they're going to be able to fire faster and earlier than the enemy tank, so you can use that alongside your numbers to get some really good trades early on. I would love to see that work. I hope Nocturna keeps trying that stuff out. I really like just risky, high veterancy division gameplay anyways, mostly because a lot of the pros have always been leaned on the side of responsibility on getting more of the numbers and less of the veterancy. But I just think the attack with the T-72SS, which are these very defensive long-range units with their extra health and their high-tech missile, I think that's the part that just didn't work. Like doing that very aggro strategy with the numbers of tanks and the light mechanized to just take ground from under the T-72 cover fire, but then also try to lure constantly the enemy to engage badly on long ranges. There was this contradiction that made the whole strategy stop. I would love to see that stuff being played more all in the same way that we saw Nocturna do here. It wasn't all in, of course. Nocturna did a double attack both in the Crossroads and Boris. But you know, if you had to do this with the T-72s, it probably would have been an all-in because it would be more expensive. And very nicely, actually, the kill ratios being surprisingly even. But of course, the Polish get their ground by getting tactical kills, not by getting a numbers advantage.
Yeah, and also by just getting a lot of victories here in the fights. And like, if you just keep on taxing the enemy, and hey, hello there to everybody over from the team and stream here. Welcome to the party. Yeah, then Bendover did lose so many units, and you also every investment into the air means fewer units on the ground. So as 6US, you try to take as few casualties as possible, but 4th Zmech is just taking every trade it can. Like, if both sides trade 1-1, in the end, you will have still combined arms on the battlefield, and the enemy won't, because nobody can get combined arms as cheaply as you can. And that way, trading 1-1 is totally fine for these decks, 4th Zmech, 4th Mordschützen, and Nocturna just perfectly played into that and got map number 2 here and got us a 1-1 draw here in our first WARNO League Season 5 match. Which means both of them will get 1 point on the board. Or 2 points, rather, because each map is worth 2 points. So, Nocturna and Bendover. Where are they? Why do I not see that? I'm really, really blind right now. Right. They played the last round game first because obviously they did. But yeah, bend over and Nocturna here. The first points on the scoreboard. And now we're going to go to Group B, which is a mix of British and American players. And we're going to have Griffon versus Mjblair there as the second match of WARNO League Season 5. And this is going to be an interesting one as well because Mjblair, really strong performance in Division 2 last season. And Griffon, our dark horse in Division 1. Really, really high performance on the ladder. But first time ever in a WARNO League, being kind of this 20th slot to come in here into Division 1. And I heard a lot of good things. Going to be interesting to see if they really are this good or if the tournament performance here will hinder them. And yeah, quick break, and then we're going to be back with Griffon versus Mjblair, so don't you run away. And here we go into series number 2. And we have Mjblair versus Griffon 65. As we have a pretty interesting matchup here between two really similar divisions. And if we have a look on the matchup, 4E here, Divisor versus 8th US. And the picks and bans, really classic picks and bans. 11th ACAV, maybe a bit surprising, but outside of that, DivMob still makes sense. Second Panzer Grenadier, OG, top dog division, 79th, 11th Guards. 4th Zmech, still pretty good as well. I think people still have to adjust on how strong the Polish are maybe now. Do you still have to always ban them? Do you still have to sometimes ban them? Are they maybe just okay A-tier divisions now with the nerfs to the BMP1s and so on? It's going to be interesting, but yeah, 4th Division and E2S, and then first Tankova versus 119th, so heavy tank maps and divisions here coming in. We're also gonna get Chandra for map number 2. Pretty excited for that. First time that we see that map in League. And yeah, Mount River here, game 1. And I think these two divisions, pretty similar mechanized infantry divisions for NATO. Leo 2 A4 division on one side, and on the other side, M1A1s, both not having much on the infantry side next to it, but like when it comes to big IVs or so, you have a couple of Bradleys, you have the autocannons ones, but no HGMs on them, and then big artillery guns on both sides, MR10s, F-16s on both sides. So really, it's going to be an absolute show of skills, and it's also going to be interesting to see how they build the tank tabs.
Yeah, of course, 8th Infantry's infantry is miles and miles better than what the Dutch bring out, but the Dutch are a more mechanized and aggressive division, absolutely. Their recon is way more suitable in immediately attacking stuff and moving in front of the Leopard 2A4Cs, which are themselves very fast and great at firing from the move. And whereas the Bradleys are more defensive, the Kiowa Warrior, of course, a sniper unit basically to take out enemies when there is a lack of air defenses, and it will be able to buy at least some time for Mjblair's units to get into position. But if we look at the openers here, we're seeing Mjblair is investing into 2 M60 tanks. Now, these are older generation tanks. They're moving to do infantry support up north around Papa and Alpha. But I dare to say that those things are going to be completely worthless if the Leopard 2s are going to try to have a fight. Leopard 2s are going in the middle. There's going to be a lot of KCT Wegener's, which are, of course, GSR units, ground surveillance radar, which means that the Leopards are going to have some pretty great defensive recon, as well as, of course, the helicopters getting the free information on what's coming for Mjblair. And yeah, on the both ends, I just feel like Mjblair's opener here is quite defensive. Lack of tanks, 2 fighters here, not even diving in to get the recon helicopters. I think if Mjblair gets the extra 4 or 5 minutes that they want, I think this could be a very powerful just holding the Dutch and not refusing to take the engagements, and then fighting the Leopards when there is suitable support, helicopters, bomber aircraft, and all such. But if Griffon just wants to go through here, needs to go through the Kiowa Warrior first, but after that, I think it's realistic to just attack.
The Cheetah, perfect anti-helicopter, especially against 4 hit point helicopters, but even against higher hit point helicopters, it just threads through them. Like, as soon as it fires on the Kiowa is going to die. The Laro here with the TOW 2 going to be able to unload. Kiowa actually just wasting all its shots down to 1 round.
Horrible.
And having to disengage. There is no supply track right behind that. 1 M60 also in a weird spot there in the rear. I have no idea what that was all about. So that just kind of got stuck.
Must have been a misclick when you give a command to an aircraft.
Yeah.
Accidentally selecting the, yeah.
Kiowa still staying around. Leo 2's here engaging the LRS. LRS also relatively slow on the disengage, so already down half the hit points. No real forces in the south. There is an ITO in the middle, but none really in the silo. So the TOW 2 here pushing around, and the Cheetah can just protect the Leopard 2A force against the Kiowa Warrior. And then just keep on going. YPR coming in here as well with the autocannon. The Mjblair forces mostly in the north. They can relatively easily push on there, but it's mostly defensive units. It's all MGs and ITGMs. So Mjblair wants to honker down here. ITO coming up. The M60 now being brought back in the middle. Mud CP being brought in for the south. But yeah, the Bradley on its own here now. And the Leo 2A force with the 21 pen can one-shot kill that thing. So this is a tough time for Mjblair's center defense here right now.
Yeah, the Kiowa Warrior miss micro was tragic. The Hellfires have faster rate of fire and aiming time than other missiles. So in practice, if you lose your sight against an enemy vehicle for a second, it will immediately fire a next one. And having only 4 missiles firing at something like the car, just a complete waste, complete lack of tempo there for Mjblair. And this has allowed Griffon to just play as safely as they want, losing basically nothing in this middle fight. Now, both of the TOW2 launchers, the Ito and the Bradley, have been revealed, and just as the LRS are pushed off the zone, the Rangers are going to dive in there, and the Eyehawk is destroyed. Did the Ito kill? Yeah, the Ito killed the Eyehawk. It was just on the range.
That is pretty key. The Cheetah also coming in maybe a bit late here, so the Blackhawks at least will be able to land the Rangers and maybe make it off the field afterwards as well. Blackhawks now being cheaper makes these kind of plays a lot more affordable as well. Went from 60 to 50 points, so Blackhawk reinforcements now is something that we will see a lot more of. I also believe 101st Airborne will be something that we're going to see a good bit of in this league. YPR engaging the M60 in the north. M60 gets the kill back at least. Those are the kind of plays that I want to see from the M60s, hunting those light vehicles. Leo 2A4s can't be everywhere at the beginning of the game. So if you start with the M60s, you have to use them as well. More M60 play though coming out. I'm a bit weirded out by that on this map, where they can't quite be there everywhere in the first 2-3 minutes, but Leo 2s can be on the pretty narrow front line quite quickly, and then, yeah, as you said, the M60s can't even scratch the Leo 2A4.
Yeah, and the M60s are excellent fire support tanks, and they work together with the Abramses. When the Abramses, they can smoke to cover the Abramses, they can take risks that the Abramses can't take, they can sit around and provide fire support for infantry when the Abrams has to be doing like main character shit somewhere else. But there are no Abramses right now. There's a Kiowa warrior that is going to get pretty close to this Bofors cannon and this Cheetah.
Yeah, firing a missile against the YPR, but the YPR disengages. Kiowa has to immediately run away again. Another Bofors coming up. M60 has to smoke off, and we see a kill from the Eyehawk on the Kiowa warrior. No M1A1s on the battlefield. KCT Vercanners under fire there. The mech rifle law pushing forward. Might get a law launcher against the Cheetah. That could be nice. Aiming there, get the stun. Stunned down now. Don't get the second shot out as the Cheetah smokes off in time. Leo 2A4 is around now as well. Rangers trying to push forward. M60 engaging the Panzer Infantry. Bradley around there as well. MR10 artillery coming towards the battlefield. TOW2 though, engaging the M60. Will deal good damage there. Rangers getting stunned down by the Cheetah. Cheetah immediately getting the ground range fire there, and the Rangers just gonna get shredded. Really good positioning there from Griffon. Rangers not able to get the law this time on target and just got completely annihilated there. MR10 engaging north against the TOW2 there. That's a key factor. More M60s coming up there, but one Leo 2A4 already shutting all of this down. MR10 likely gonna get a kill here this time around. TOW2, yeah, not able to disengage. And that could do some damage, but the other side has that MR10 as well, so there is no long-term artillery advantage here for Mjblair if Griffon wants to get involved in this as well.
Yeah, with the second Leopard 2A4C reinforcing the northern line, the M60s are now going to have to fight against this thing on long range. And with 15 penetration against 18 armor, with 21 penetration against 12 armor on the other side. Leopard 2 opening fire here already. 2 Leopard 2s actually. This is Mjblair has to start bringing out the heavy stuff. And as I say that, M1 Abrams with some mech rifles, Dragon reinforcements are moving into the middle sector here. But already Griffon has managed to get what they need. They have managed to fight the enemy into a standstill. They have managed to get the middle. They've managed to build up a bunch of Eyehawks and some artillery and air defense all around the map here to prevent the kind of shock air massing Lathan's doctrine stuff. They have a bunch of extra recon. They have more recon than necessary, which is exactly what you should have. You should always have redundancy. And they have some permanent engagements in which the Leopard 2 2A4Cs especially are just superior. And one of them getting routed here, but it is not showing its rear armor to the enemy.
Yeah, and the other one getting an M3A1 Bradley and getting one M60 already. I guess the M60 maybe got brought around expecting more Leo 1 and Ls at the beginning, but those weren't around. M110 now from the other side, retaliating, getting some damage against some Itos here as well. Gonna get the kill there. And yeah, the M1A1's now coming onto the battlefield, but all their support equipment already got taken away. The Rangers got taken away, the Recon Infantry in the north got taken away, the M60s to help out dealing with the YPRs, maybe shooting down enemy TOW2s got taken off the battlefield in numbers as well. Like, the traits here just not going well for Mjblair. M3A1 firing against the YPR does miss there though. Ito involved against the Leo 2A4 in the north, but not able to get the hit there, and likely gonna go down here soon. Well, it's the M1A1 moves forward, but is outclassed by the Leo 2A4C slightly as well. Against the Leo 2A4B, it has a slight advantage, but those are not the ones on the battlefield here right now, as the M110 tries to get some shots out here into the southern part, tries to get the cheetah killed, might find that, yeah, does find that, but the M110's on the other side, as I said. Griffon can do this as well. Griffon has the second one now on the battlefield because they didn't lose so much in the early game. So this M110 advantage of Mjblair now is gone, and the M1A1s have arrived, but they have nothing to shoot at right now.
Yeah, and every single infantry unit here is relatively like way cheaper for the Dutch. If the Americans get a hit in, they might kill a 60-point KCT Werkeners or a 40-point Panzerinfanterie. But if the Dutch get a hit in, they might kill a 60-point mech rifles or even an 80-point LRS. It's just a better game for the Dutch. And of course, when you're on the defense, it provides you basically it can provide you with this constant attrition, forcing your enemy to make moves that they are not ready to do yet, forcing them to reveal their stuff, and just to keep themselves at attention at all times. And yeah, already pre-aiming at this one Abrams, holding fire currently.
Double M110s coming in, getting the stun. M1A1 moving to lately here. The next shot's falling, and the M1A1 is taken out. That's the power of the double heavy guns. They can take out even the best M1A1s here in one salvo if you don't immediately move when the shots start flying. Like, once they land and you get stunned while still being in the middle of the circle, you're not going to get out alive. TOW2 here coming around, trying to kill the Bradley. Not able to do so. And yeah, more M1 Abrams CP coming up, but those M1 CPs, those are not M1A1s. Those don't have the good gun. Those still only have 16 frontal armor, so they aren't here to rival Leo 2s, and the Leo 2 number only going to rise here. Leo 2A4B now coming out in the north, as the cost efficiency here for Griffon is just really through the roof right now, and the game is just starting to snowball.
Yeah, and we're seeing the basic engagement here with the very cheap reservist Natras squad, 35 points, engaging a Mech Rifles Dragon with the support of its vetted up elite infantry fighting vehicle friend, and with the M60 participating in this kind of desperately trying to catch up with the more efficient infantry fighting vehicle. It seems like the Natras is just straight up winning this fight.
Yeah, M60 there, not able to use its heavy MG. We have the second M110 from Mjblair now as well. We have another M60 coming around, but the M60 is really, like on other maps where you have more chances for flank shots, where you can spread out the map a bit more, I feel like the M60 opener would have been a cool idea, but on this direct frontline versus frontline map that is in 95% of the games, Mount River, I feel like the M60 over M1 Abrams and M1A1s was a weird choice, and yeah, it's got punished quite hard here by Griffon.
Yeah, and you can try to compromise. You can take one A1 and have all of its support vehicles be M60s. You can that's kind of the way that it should have gone here. I think the extra suppression damage and the extra HE attack that the M60s provide, basically working as a protector, as a shield for the M1A1s. But Leopard 2A4s, 2A4Cs getting there, they have really good and really wide recon all around the map. That's pretty difficult.
Last minute turn there from Griffon. Bradley trying to get a sneaky side shot there against one of the Leo 2A4Cs in the south, but now the second one has come around. M1A1 taking a fight with the Leo 2A4B in the middle. Leo 2A4 able to disengage. YPR with TOW2s firing at the M1CP. It's not smoking off, and it's gonna go down here. Bradley goes down as well. Two more heavy, hard to replace units here. 4 8PS going down without achieving any kills in return, and yeah, the snowball just keeps on going, and this is one of the most snowbally maps there is, because the map is just so narrow, and you can just constantly get all the firepower onto the enemy, and more tents here getting some nice value in the north as well, and there's next to nothing left there for Mjblair. The Leo 2A4s, after being repaired, can just maybe roll forward and completely clean this up.
Yeah, as I was saying, that going against the Leopard 2A4 opener is a pretty difficult task, and even in the mid game, those things are still very dangerous. So the way that an 8th player can try to dodge this is to try to force infantry fights, and that is exactly what we're seeing right now with 5 squads of Mech Rifles Law, 9-man infantry squads, very powerful infantry squads, getting sent out there to try to engage and force fights, but once again, I think the well-positioned fire support vehicles, the PRIs, will more than enough compensate for the lack of good infantry here. The defensive positions that Griffon is in are obviously designed so that there are cheetahs and PRIs all around the place to engage the stronger infantry. And without a dedicated support, either a bunch of bombers or a bunch of tanks, frankly, that could move in and try to take care of the PRIs, they're just going to be doing free damage. Now with the TOW Cobra and M60 and artillery trying to achieve this, but there are more than enough TOW2s here to make this very dangerous for the M60s.
Yeah, M60 gets to stand down on one of them at least. Together with the M113, one of the TOW2s might fall here. Yes, YPR coming around again. Yeah, one TOW2 goes down. YPR under fire gets damaged here as well. We see Dragon pushing forward. We see the M60A3 here pushing up as well. Panzer Infantry under fire. Mech Rifle Dragon getting into the engagement there as well. M60 gets done down. And the +2 keeps on going. Bradley under fire goes down. 8 Danke, thanks for the gifted subs there. To Viking, Woznigod, Strumming Bird, Awesome Jotham, and VK Green, and Valorant on top of that, giving one to Love Thrill. Thanks very much for the support there. With this one and all the other ones before. Much appreciating it. And yeah, the M110s here getting back into the fire, but this push is just not getting through. It was a good attack this time around from Mjblair. I think this was as well executed as you could have done this, with a lot of good shots, keeping the TOW2 stunned down and so on, but there was just too much here from Griffon, so getting through was never really an option.
Yeah, it's so easy to trade badly when playing 8th. And I don't know if you saw, but there was even the Stinger managed to get the Kiowa Warrior, kind of as maybe a symbolic end to that attack. But so Aim Juicy contests saying that 8th infantry is valid. Do you think that the nerfs, even though there are a bunch of like efficiency buffs that 8th received, for instance, the Rangers transport, the Black Hawk being a major example, do you think 8th is valid? Because 8th is still expensive, 275 point tanks with not really an efficient opener recon unit. You have your A10s, but you don't get an M113C and V.
You have you have now cost increased over the last half year. M1s, M60s, Rangers on their own, the Blackhawks and so on. I think the division is kind of back. If you play it around the Kiowa Warrior, the Kiowa Warrior is the key unit there against divisions with 4 deploy AA. I would never play 8US, but against divisions without that, and with the Kiowa Warrior being able to get you enough ground in the opener, I think the division is absolutely fine right now, and like in a pretty strong spot again, with the debuffs that it has gotten around all of its support equipment over the last half year, and the nerfs especially to the top tier divisions that just came in once more in the last patch. Like at the Norfac launch, I would have never picked it. Now with Southak, I think it's in a fine spot, and I think it's in an okay spot in this matchup as well. I just think the M60 choice was the big mistake here in this matchup, in particular.
Yeah, I think there was too much presumption, assuming that the enemy was going to have the Leopard 1 NLs, whereas we haven't seen a single one of those things so far. All the infantry support has been done by the PRIs, which are more than capable for that. Generally, you would actually want to get the Leopard 1Ls against the divisions that also have infantry fighting vehicles, which the 8th famously does not. And at that point, the M60 was just the M60 was not good enough to push and take out the PRIs while also surviving against any contact with the Leopard 2s. So it was just a bad. You're correct. It was a incorrect choice. The A10s with a decent enough kind of recon early defense, the A10s could have gone out and punished some like early aggro, but because of the
A10 getting the juicy hit there. That's what you want from them. M1A1 here has to survive though, and the TOW2 is getting dangerously close. Artillery coming in now on top of it. M1CV gets the Leo 2A4B, stops the tick here. Is there actually hope? There's so little support right now. The Rangers coming in here in the transports. The Cheetah is down. There is still a Stinger, but it only has one more round left, so it can't get the kill here on the Blackhawks. Is there a supply helicopter coming in as well? No. No supply UH. That would be really helpful here right now. MR10's actually finding the shots onto the M1. No, Mjblair not realizing it's artillery that hit him there, smoking off. But the artillery shot will still land. Kills one M1A1 and the M1 Abrams CP nearly going down as well. Blackhawk immediately hitting the Ranger as well. Oh, perfect MR10 rounds. Oh no. The Rangers getting into the wrong neighborhood, going down there as well. Yeah, once more really good engagements here from Mjblair. And getting some important kills, but just not having enough steam behind all of this. Leo 2A4B leader here kills off the M1 Abrams CPV in the middle, will get the +2 back going, and there are just no units on the front line here right now.
Yeah, and the opener Kiowa Warrior miss micro, it is so easy. It happens so fast. If you blink it, you miss it. So what is the like when you say that, well, as long as the Kiowa Warrior performs, then 8th is valid, but it really is such a huge linchpin that if you're trying to be competitive on this level, where you're always going to be expecting some level of aggro from your opponent, especially from a tank aggro division like 4E, like, yeah, I guess maybe it is an expensive unit and all of that, but it really is all that they get, unless you want to go super turtle with M150s or something. I think the recon tab weakness is so much for that. When I'm thinking about this game here, like a single Hellfire hit that drives the tanks a little bit further away, and then the Kiowa Warrior moves over the Western Lake and then just keeps on and denies the entry. Like, that's a huge thing. That going along with the Rangers that were going in as reinforcements, the whole game could have gone differently if that opener tempo was achieved. And I'm not sure if I'm willing to say a division is competitive if that really is the linchpin.
Yeah, A10 gets hit here. I mean, it's the opener where that is the key part. They still have an amazing follow up compared to a lot of other divisions. I think 4th E is still one of the best divisions out there, and you still can go toe to toe after that with them. It's just that they have a slightly better opener with the KCD Vacaner availability being a bit nuts, and yeah, that then that kind of being it. Like, actually, the KCD Vacaner being the one thing that is a bit nuts about them having 6 GSR units. But yeah, F-16 here now going down. You have MR10s, you have M1A1s, you have a lot of good infantry, special forces infantry in there as well now that is pretty cost efficient since the buffs. Like, 8QS got buffed quite a lot lately. Maybe a slight slot buff in the recon tab, but even there, yeah, I think they got decent buffs as well with the transport M13s, the ACAV being slightly brought back into availability as well. So I think it's a fair division. I think it's really mostly down to what was done here in the opener and just not having anything to deal with Leo 2A Force. Like, even if you do the M60s, why don't you bring TOW 2 M901s or TOW 2 teams? Like, why ITOs? ITOs don't do enough against Leo 2A Force. TOW 2s do enough against Leo 2A Force, so why those light ATGMs?
Yeah, and the twin fighters, also the two fighters that didn't really do anything in that moment, could have been bought a few minutes later if you absolutely want to have them. But here's an idea. Considering we're always seeing the very powerful 9-man mech rifle squads being the standard infantry unit of choice, but those things together with the M1A1s might just be a little bit too expensive. What if we start seeing people play with the fire teams, use the very cheap small fire teams as regular infantry to compensate for the fact that the rest of your stuff is just so expensive?
Yeah,
It's a theory.
that's something that you sometimes see as well. I'm not sure if you can afford that slot wise. Like, I think there's something where AMDZ absolutely has a point. This division has gotten slot nerfed in the far past when it was the top dog division. Like, 8US had a year of being one of the top 3 divisions in the meta back in 2023. So back then it got nerfed quite hard, and the slots of it are harsher than in maybe any other division in the game, for sure, than most other divisions in the game currently. And maybe a slight recon buff there could be in order. But outside of that, I still think this division is a high B tier, low A tier division, and like does have similar units to what you see here on the other side. Just 4th here, getting it a bit better with the Leo 2A4 Cs here right now, and yeah, the non-tres and the big infantry plop now moving forward, and just yeah, M60s not being a good unit for this map. And I guess really it was an expectance of Leo 1 and else. He didn't expect the Leo 2A Force from the get-go and only Leo 2A Force from the get-go play, because otherwise I can't explain why you would pick M60s in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, just complete blindness to the fact that the Leopard 2 player on this middle area that is always going to be an immediate power struggle that with the KCT Werkeners, it's quite easy to participate in as the Dutch. And then expecting the Dutch to just have the Leopard 2A force in the middle and also not up top, I think that was a big presumption there on the side of Mjblair. But with the first game over, second game here to the left, yeah, we can see the KDR is insane. Just 6,000 versus 3,500 right from the very start. If you look at the kills, look at the TOW 2 taking out a Mech Rifles Dragon squad. That is so many points done immediately.
Yeah, killing off a couple of recon transports here as well. And then the Leo 2 started to take away on the M60. One of them killing off 3 M60s there, maybe not even really being scratched. And yeah, as I said, like, ITO's also not being a threat there, so the Leo 2s just drove into range and killing off those as well. Like, that's the issue. Like, you need to have something to threaten Leo 2s on your opener, and not a single unit there in the opener outside of the Kiowa Warrior and the one Recon Bradley. Like, those were the 2 units that you were relying upon. And that's just a bit too little. Like, with the Cheetah around and the Stingers around, you can't rely on the Kiowa Warrior to hold your enemy off for forever. And yeah, the center got captured, and that was kind of it. Really well executed from Griffon. And interesting to see where it goes in game number 2, because we gonna have a heavy matchup there as well. Griffon on 119th versus first Tankova on Chandra, a relatively slow and open map as well. So this is going to be a really interesting one as well. I would expect a lot of artillery out of first Tankova. I would expect some big T-72 pushes maybe in the early game. I'm really excited for it. I hope you are as well, guys. Quick break, and then we're going to be back with game number 2. And game number 2 has Griffon up 0-1. And we have Chandra. First time that we see this map. And before we talk about it and its special things, one more quick shout out and one more big thanks, guys. We already have a bigger prize pool this season than we had at the end of last season, at day 1 of the tournament. So yeah, it's great to see that the hype for WARNO League Season 5 is not just on my end, not just on the player's end, but on your viewer end as well. The claim code button, already 35 claimed this season as well. We might be at 0 at day 1 here as well. if you guys help out here, clicking the claim code button, adding 25 cents completely for free to the prize pool. And yeah, that would help out quite a bit as well. So just clicking there, easy money to the prize pool here on the top right. And then another thing that can help you out having a bit more fun with the WARNO League is joining the Fantasy League. And with that, you through the link in the chat, you can get to the document and there pick your team out of the players, and with every map win they get, you will get some points on the scoreboard and get some points, and whoever has the most points with their team in the end will win the Fantasy League. And with that, STL themed stainless steel mug. So yeah, that's great fun there as well, and really happy with the league so far. Really happy with all the motivated players. Big thanks to Fat Kid for helping out a lot. Big thanks to Stahlbrecher, AMDUZ, and Ryan Sartome helping out with the organization as well. And obviously, big thanks once more to Chloride here for joining me for this absolutely phenomenal action. And yeah, what a fun little map we have in front of us here now. One of the two mirror maps. Yeah.
Proton, big thanks to you, especially from all of us. But yeah, Chandra. So a lot of people immediately dislike this map when they see it. There is no back points. There is only basically a twin front line of 1 point zones, quite large zones. Especially considering how much stuff is inside them, how many corners and buildings and forest tree lines are in here. But basically, the way I interpret this is that this is an anti-rush division. This is a division for heavy gameplay. The wide front line allows for both kind of, if you're going to be playing defensively, especially with tanks, you're going to be forced to hold a wide front line with pretty decent cover going from all around the place. And if you're going to be rushing, you're going to have to basically leave some of your openings, some of your sidelines open. And one of the standard ways that I've seen this map being played is that people just try to do infantry attacks in the middle town. The middle town, as you can see, is connected to basically 4 different tree lines, all of which lead to one of the 4 points, Center, Gregory, Boris, and Fedor. But that if you fight inside the town and you get good enough positions, you basically, with enough fire supremacy and recon, you unlock the ability to attack one of the 4 zones on the right. But on the other hand, in going in that middle is just a perfect place for you to be contained, kind of a very potential quagmire, a boondoggle, kind of a lot of different positions in the game, doing immediate infantry attacks in positions that don't lend you any points, can easily become just a place where your aggro gets contained in. And Mjblair here, obviously playing with the Czechoslovak first Tankovi, going with the cheapest T-72s, the E2s with no smokes, up-vetted, bunch of Motostrelci also up-vetted, but most importantly, rocket helicopters and Zenichi Pruskomnichi, recon engineers, moving in and trying to get to the northeastern point of Shariton. And with the recon drone now nerfed to 500 kph, making it a little bit more sensible.
Double SC-27 opener, the second buy here, really crucial. Nice bait from Griffon. Double kill on the MiG-23s. And yeah, the North on the Tu-143 not being as fast anymore, not being able to spot everything immediately, but the double kill on the planes here is big. Now the Mi-17s here are in a world of danger, trying to get the kills here against the Spetsnaz GRU in transport. Might be able to get one of them. Yeah, get one of them in transport. Might get the second one here killed just in time as well, but the SU-27's now coming for them. Really big rocket kills here in the north, but the kills on the helicopter and the Mi-24 in the middle now, running through all of this. This is a really, really rough battle. And taking this many losses on this map means that your front line is even more open than it usually would be.
Yeah, Mjblair's units have managed to basically secure a unthreatened currently reinforcement line for infantry to get into Sheraton. And even though 119th gets Spetsnaz, it's quite clunky for 119 to try to participate in infantry fights, especially when the rocket helicopters and the mech support are already kind of happening
Oh,
around Mjblair's side. Now the T-80UD engaging the twin T-72s, it has the first spot. It aimed first. The recon Spetsnaz managing to spot those T-72s. Now with good luck, both of T-72s are still alive. With the T-80 getting way closer than it needs to be for the moment, and maybe allowing for some penetration from the T-72s here.
yeah, but even on these ranges, the 21 frontal armor against the 19 pen, they still don't deal much damage. And the T-80UD can two-shot them, gets another kill here. BMP-1 coming along here, maybe at the wrong moment as well. The Svatava got killed as well. MiG-23, oh, that would be big. It gets the kill!
Oh!
And it can get out alive.
Downtown.
SU-27 is a bit late here. The MiG-27 is not evacuated. Big mistake by Mjblair. Oh, you could have just gotten out of here. Why do you stay around? MiG-23 gets sacrificed completely needlessly. Oh, that could have been a way better victory than it was. The Mi-24K being enabled by Griffon winning the airfight with the Su-27s, able to engage here in the south. The OSA already on the way. Concourse gets the BMP-1 CV there as well. That Concourse was known, moving the BMP-1 there a bit mindless by Mjblair as well. Not quite following the speed of the game here right now. And the Mi-24 is getting a lot of kill. This is a wild opener, and 119 always has to be careful to not lose cohesion completely. But currently, it has gotten the better traits. It has air supremacy, and that always is a big start for 119. If it has air supremacy, it can use its tanks a good bit more aggressive. But yeah, even after all those good traits, after losing the T-80UD, the front line is open immediately, and Yesterka, Osas, and Co. pushing forward. Osa is there now. Mi-24K needs to be careful, immediately gets stunned, so it can't disengage. It's over in forest as well. It can't just dodge here. So the Mi-24K likely going to go down here as well. Oh, Osa missing twice. Really lucky there for Griffon.
Yeah, with Mjblair's forces being absolutely ragtag after the Mi-24K just spent all of its ammunition on everybody, there is a single supply truck here which may be able to keep up some. No, the supply truck has been routed to move towards the enemy. Oh, now finally getting rerouted, fortunately. And with the limited units here out there in the front, and losing another recon drone, quite unfortunate here for Mjblair. But Mjblair still has momentum, despite the counter-attacking Boris cutting off the Jesterkas and the Svatava now getting engaged by a BMP-2.
Gets a kill there.
Oh, Svatava gets it!
With the better recon, the RT HPCs getting out in a better spot now as well. BMP-1 infantry there coming in. Yeah, Mjblair's division can go messy a bit easier, but the Su-27s are a big problem. The Yestercars in the south getting eliminated so easily was a big issue as well. The Yestercar now trying to find the Spetsnaz Komrodi, will do so here. But the recon goes down a bit too early. Good smoke this time from Griffon. Did miss that smoke in the earlier engagement in the north. Well, it's more recon infantry coming in, more BMP-1s coming in. The T-72 E3 with smoke coming in as well, whilst we have a T-80 BVK on the other side. Issue is that it is a +3 here already, as Dimitri never got captured because the BMP got killed off. Mjblair here engaging against the Svatava in the south. Bit more infantry could easily push down towards Feodor. But the T-80 BVK is dangerous for the Yesterka, for the T-72 ME2. The Spetsnaz GRU in the middle, big advantage there for Griffon as well. And the Su-27s just being able to strafe infantry is really annoying as well. Osas here now, able to engage, getting one good hit, might at least get one of them from the airfield air now. No, do miss on the second missile. Yesterka and Motostrelci versus Mjblair on the ground there. As we see more Su-27 strafing in the south. nearly killing off the Recon. Spetsnaz GIU now getting engaged here. We'll have to disengage out of there. Whilst we see a Tulipan coming out early, we see more AA coming out. The AA is really the investments you don't want to do here right now as Mjblair, but you kind of have to because of how much you butchered the air game.
Yeah, just the O's has already basically run out of ammunition here. And there's going to be a moment when the SU-27s are going to be refueling. They have been flying around and spending a lot of their weaponry, which is going to increase the time that they're going to have to spend at the aircraft yard, I don't know, shipyard. But meanwhile, the few bombers that the 119th actually gets could start making an appearance. Like, Griffon can't keep these fights up by buying these 0-vet Motostrelki and 0-vet Saperi RPO. This is very temporary. TO-55s are a nice unit here that can penetrate the T-72s on close ranges and also win infantry fights for the 0-vet infantry. But the fundamentals are starting to form around here with a bunch more anti-air missiles coming out there. The BMP-1 Motostrelki being a great kind of a line infantry unit, up-vetted with 2 medium machine guns. Even the standard 7-man squad can win these fights against equal 0-vet units quite easily. And now T-80 leader actually getting in and into the close fights around Gregory. Not really anything to support the T-72M unless Mjblair is going to bring out a fighter. Now, right now, going to be just a moment for the Su-27 to leave. Whether Mjblair realizes this and tries to actually get some airplay done, it's going to be very risky. At the very least, when the T-80 UDs come out in some kind of force, at that point, there has to be some kind of planes. Those things are just too heavy not to try to take out with airplanes.
Yeah, Motostrelki and Sinistri here moving around. We have more BMP2s being brought up for the north. It's the Saperi RPO and Motostrelki BMP holding the line. The Yesterka engaging on the ground there. Getting some good damage in. Good fire support there. BMP-1 Fagots coming in. The Tulipan trying to find some hits here. Does fail to do so though. As the Svatava tries to engage the Spetsnaz GIU. Not able to get the good damage in there. Yesterka goes down in the north, and it looks bad for Mjblair there in the north against Sheraton. As the southern zone, he doesn't really have anything to push with for the T-80 BVK. Still alive. The EM3 not able to get an easy kill there. BMP-1 moving around here in the center. Yesterka and Svatava at least will get the Spetsnaz GIU killed, most likely there. So that at least is one less unit on the battlefield. But with the T-80 BVK, with the BMP-2 there in the middle, and with the massive amount of infantry in the north, and taking away the one zone that was captured by Mjblair, bringing it back to a standstill here, with 500 points already in favor of Griffon. This is not looking great right now. Svatava engaging the BMP-1 Fagot. At least that one should get killed off quite soon. The Recon Satchel Charge Infantry getting some damage. Ooh! Tulipan getting some good hits against T-80. Can the T-72 EM3 do the damage there? It should be able to.
Showing side armor. Not
Gets
showing
a hit.
anymore.
Oh, not quite getting the kill. And it has the slow reload time. The T-80 does miss, but the T-72 switch targets. It shot at the BMP-2. BMP-1 not able to get the hit there. And it switches target to the TO-55. It doesn't finish off the job. The BMP-1 actually doing the kill. T-72 now against TO-55 here. BMP-1 there engaging with a Malyutka as well. T-72 ME3 disengaging, getting a bit more damage, but the CV goes down. So capturing the point now is off the menu again. This is painful, as it was just about to enter the zone. The TO-55 kill is massive here. If the EM2 does survive. This might give some time here. The TO55s in the north overextending a bit as well, but they got an OSA. So whenever Mjblair starts to get some kills, he takes a similar amount of losses right now after a bad opener. That is just not something you can afford here. So whilst he keeps the combined arms off Griffon somewhat taxed, he doesn't get the snowball on that he wants to get here. Another BMP1 goes down. BMP1 Fagot engaged Svatava. The Tulipan engaging further here, but the Svatava will go down against the BMP2. The EM3 there in a super risky spot. As
oh no, there's an LGB.
Oh, two BMP2s going down the north. The LGB gets the EMT3 as well. The second OSA being down, not being able to engage there, made that possible. Really good usage of the situation there. The T-72 E3 completely overextending. The TO-55s dealing with all the infantry. BMP2s all down in the north. 3 of them going down there once more here. And this situation is deteriorating once more as it is Mjblair who has to play the speed game here, who has to put the pressure on, and his combined arms is just too low right now to do that. He has nothing in front of his recon, of his CV BMP1. The BMP2 will just kill that. It will get into the zone for center, but second, but the Spetsnaz Comrade already on the way there, so this is not gaining him a lot of points, and all his infantry north is going to die as well. His BMP1 leader goes down, BMP1 in the north goes down. Yeah, basically nothing left at this stage for Mjblair on the front line. He has good reinforcements coming, but there are way better units on the front line already for Griffon.
Yeah, it was Mjblair's last few minutes have been a tragedy here. Like the trying to force the issue with Chariton, trying to keep the attack going. By the time the enemy infantry had completely fortified and taken control of the town, like at that point, what I think kind of should have happened was that Mjblair would have completely abandoned Chariton and moved everything else to try to get into the left side of Gregory. Basically, move in the BMP 1s and 2s and use them as fire support units, try to blow up around the middle. You have the Tulipan there, you have some air defenses out. The attack up north was not going to happen without a buildup of infantry. And then just keeping up and sacrificing those 3 squads, that might have been crucial here. As we can see, the BMP1 is already screening for the Reds and getting freely into one of the blue points, and infantry is going to follow it. Rasvetka BMP2 is probably going to have something to say about that as well.
Yeah, BMP1 goes down. Motostreltsi's under fire. Tulipan might just get run down by a BMP1 here, together with the Strela in the forest here, as there's nothing here to protect that middle, as everything just has fallen apart. One more attempt here of a push in the north, but yeah, there goes the Strela. Tulipan now under fire, goes down as well. The combined arms just has completely disintegrated, and with that, the front line is wide open. This is the issue on Chandra, that you have to defend such a wide front line that if you ever collapse anywhere, even something like a BMP1 can raid your real completely. And yeah, the casualty rate here just too high from Mjblair, as the air game was misplayed a bit in the early game, and then a couple bad engagements, a couple units driving straight into their deaths, and then yeah, the Mi-24K just able to get so many kills here early on. This was a tough game from the start, and the couple of times it looked like he might have gotten back into it, he just seconds later lost another couple of important units, and now I just don't know how you come back from this against a division that is the best late game division in the game, most likely.
Yeah, and I think this might have just been a kind of a defender's advantage, that when you're trying to play the more aggressive side on a map that people still don't have that much experience with, and a map that is so favorable to heavier tank divisions, the Griffon's little counterattack into Boris, which consisted of like 3 units at the maximum, that one was enough to with these very long reinforcement lines, the fact that Griffon could also have more helicopters out there and more aircraft, so that's an immediate tempo advantage, being able to respond quickly to something, whereas every time Mjblair would do that would run a risk of an Su-27 diving it. So these little incursions into Boris and this sort of movement of Motorasvedkas, even on the southern range here, trying to find some kind of positions to exploit, all of that, Mjblair was going to have to respond to that. And all of these inefficiencies piled together into an inability to actually trade up in those pretty crucial middle tank fights, where there was a chance that the T-72 group would actually keep on going, that the numbers would turn into something that Griffon would also have to build up against and not just immediately confront. But at no point have the Czech forces been not confrontable by 1/19th. And that's a pretty big deal, considering 1/19th has not even run its Spetsnaz, which is what it generally does. Really just kind of saving all the points to the important stuff and carrying a lot of this fighting by a zero-vet Motorstrelkis.
Yeah, T-72S is here trying to move around. Me too's here trying to get some more values, but we now have 3 T-82s on the battlefield, I believe. A good couple of TO-55s. Like, you're not gonna get through this anytime soon. And, like, the T-82s are just kind of unkillable unless you have mass artillery, and that's not gonna come out of nowhere here now. We already saw the Dana dying, we saw Tulipan dying, so like the artillery park is not gonna just create here and start shredding this. And on the other side we have Mazdas that got cheaper, being brought up here. Those towed artillery pieces for the Soviets now on par with their allied with their NATO counterparts, whilst BMP2s unloading in the south. And yeah, this situation is really, really rough here for Mjblair, and it would need some miracle kills on TDUDs. Like, this is still his kind of hope that if you kill those 3-4 key units, then your T-72s can run everything else over on the other side. The issue is, how do you kill those 3-4 key units? And his arsenal is so limited when it comes to that.
Yeah, there's still a lot of time, still a lot of chances for Mjblair to manufacture some kind of a good engagement. And LGB bomber is coming in to try to thin the herd. Motorasvedka spotting this T-72S. Osas managing to get the punish, but that is a pretty significant loss. Veteran T-72S tank. A Tunguska getting taken out by another T-72S here, and with a rare overextension from Griffon's part. Like, Griffon really has to lose this. This is a very, very difficult situation for Mjblair to try to gain tempo. There is an infantry advancement and BMP2 moving in on the middle town, and they'll be able to do something here maybe, but the real goal is to provoke the T-80s into bad positions where they can be killed. And that's just, especially on this map with this it being so wide and so very well segmented, maybe a smoke rush, but I don't see any. I mean, Dana could fire a smoke barrage and allow the T-72Ss to push. But even then, would that be sustainable? Probably not against 18 penetration RPGs.
Yeah, Tulipan trying to do the damage here. T-72S smokes off. Tulipan aiming on the spot where T-80UD is. Dana coming up as well. But even if the T-80UD here gets done down, the second one already is around. There's still enough BMP-1s and infantry to stop your T-72Ss from just running over this. And yeah, the Tulipan does do decent damage. The Malyutkas from the helicopters are coming around, but they won't do much damage. T-72S is here trying to do a bit of damage, but the T-80UDs can just smoke off and get reinforcements. The Me-2s here trying to find a bit of value, but maybe like the one thing I could see is a rush in the south, but that would have to come really soon, and it doesn't seem like that is planned right now. More investment into artillery instead. Like getting a +2 with a like 1 minute investment into the south, forcing bigger investments on the other side, and maybe gaining a bit of a speed bump there. That could be helpful. But Osa going down again, Motostrelki is going down again. Gets one SC-27, but the SC-27s are kind of whatever at this stage, as all the enemy air already has been taken out. We also have OP Spesnuts now, just using the side advantages here on this map. There are really, really dirty backline roads on this map, so that's something for the lighter divisions here really to abuse. You can get to the enemy spawn completely through forests on both sides, so that's something to consider about this map as well. And yeah, in the end, currently all the cards are in Griffon's hands, and he just would have to blunder a couple of times to really throw this away.
Yeah, counter artillery fire trying to take out the Masta managing to run off most likely here. The recent engagements with the ATUDs had the T80s getting stunned down and put down the low cohesion, but not penetrated. So that's given Mjblair a little bit of more confidence, trying to push up with the Moto Pruskumnici, engaging and spotting some Motostrelki and Motorasvedka. But the fire support here is lagging behind, with the T-72s not resupplied with the missiles, and none of them participating in supporting this motorized unit for pushing forwards here. Like the slow reinforcements of BMP1s, as opposed to like just standard trucks and BMP2s as well, all IFVs, the slow reinforcements mean that if you're going to lose the BMP in the fight early on, if it doesn't staying around and hang around, just the tempo hit on also having the unit be slower and slightly more expensive, and then also not do anything, it does build up. And it constantly seems like there is more and more IFVs and tanks and reinforcements coming in, but none of it actually stays on board, because when Griffon gets to engage, Griffon has so many support units here. And as we can see, the T-72S is taken out by the Mastas now, even before the big attack.
Yeah.
So,
the Tulipan and Danas at least did get a couple of kills as well, but not getting the T-80UD there. Danas and Tulipans now aiming for other spots, trying to kill the Mastas again, but good micro there by Griffon, not letting those get caught. Saperi pushing forward here once more. Whilst we have more BMP1s, more TC-72Ss coming up here. And the 500 point advantage is already a really big one on this map. This is usually not a fast ticking map either. And it's only 14 minutes at this point. You maybe could do it with some weird smoke plays, but really, as I said, I think a southern push would have been the way to go, and I don't think we will see this here. And with the T-72S down in the center, you also still have to reinforce that, otherwise the T-80Us will just push through there. And the OP Spesnuts pushing along on both sides also feel like it will be able to have a big impact in the last 2-3 minutes of this game, or like last through 3 important minutes, which is like the last 6 minutes of the game, cutting in reinforcements. So if there would be a move from Mjblair, it would have to be right now, and it's not coming, and that has me a bit worried that this is just going to fizzle out here in the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's the T-72s are not going to even be able to reach the T-80s. The T-80s are so far behind all of these defenses, all of these ATGMs, that the T-72s now, as we can see, them crossing the road forces them to be basically open season. T-80s can just peek out a little bit and open fire, with the Motorasvedka up in the front, giving the perfect sight. Now artillery does manage to stun down and unsettle one of the tanks.
Yeah, T-72 MK pushing forward here a bit. Tunguska going down. BMP2s try to do their best here. TADUDs, though, being able to deal so much damage. The Tulipans and Danas not really on target right now. Well up out there. And the T-72Ss, TADUDs can take all the missiles of the T-72Ss. Like, they deal 1 damage per hit. So even if they hit all 4, they still have 7 more to hit before the TADUDs actually go down. Whilst the TADUDs, ATGMs, with the reflexes here, will kill them quite easily over time. Dana's now coming in, and that's really the issue of the TADUDs. Frontally, they're so hard to kill. MiG-23, BN, such an unreliable unit. The KH-23M is not a good ATGM. And T-72 makes it into the zone here and will make it a +1, but the +1 on its own only enough to barely get even here in points, and it won't be able to hold this for the whole game. T-72 goes down here, and TADUDs can just fall back and repair. Next one comes around, gets the kill against one of the T-72Ss, and can hunt down the others as well. The Oza about to go down here. All the units of Mjblair completely exhausted, as the CV tank here about to go down as well. Supply truck goes down. TADUD can eat a shot at direct close range. The T-72 cannot. And I think this is the moment where you consider this game over, as there's nothing here left for Mjblair on the front line, and there's still every single TADUD that was brought out in the last 20 minutes, outside of the first one that got killed off by the plane, left on the battlefield.
Oh, and the BMP-1P Fuggoth down south gets a double side shot, both with the cannon and its missile, bringing down both of the attacking tanks down half health, with a single tank and an Mi-24 gunship moving in to intercept even this last-ditch effort.
Yeah, and the TADUD is already rotating here, getting the CV tank killed off with the TO-55 and the Mi-24 already. So no more points captured here either. The OP Spetsnaz getting some kills in the rear line as well, including a T-72S. So yeah, OP Spetsnaz now doing the damage as well. And this is so over. Well executed game by Griffon. Griffon showing that they absolutely deserved the spot in Division 1 here. And yeah, Mjblair, just a couple too many sloppy plays in both games in the opening, I would say. And just kind of miscalculating both games in the opener. The hunt for the SU-27 on this map was a bit wild, knowing that the next minute tick likely going to allow the enemy to buy another plane. Even a MiG-29 at this point would have been good enough, but the SU-27 here was even better, obviously. And yeah, the opener on the other map with the M60s maybe just a bit much as well. And yeah, Griffon just really playing this down, super well controlled, super smooth, and few hiccups in this game. Like the TADUD def, yeah, that's annoying, but that's more like the MiG-23 getting the perfect flank there, well executed by Mjblair, and then also being lucky because that missile is a big gamble. And yeah, outside of that, his place in this really, really good. Losing few key units. The Danas finally get one TADUD here, but with the OP Spetsnaz dealing all the damage in the rear, this doesn't really matter. OP Spetsnaz likely going to get even another kill here. As the RT's on the hunt now, but yeah, only 8 minutes here. You would need a +4 at this point, or +3, to actually have a difference here, and that is not going to happen.
Yeah, this interestingly, like the Tankova Divizia pick and Chandra pick happened right after each other. Mjblair got the pick of this map, and 119th was the counter pick. And I have a feeling that against a lot of other divisions, Mjblair would have could have maybe this could have gone way better. I think the combined SU-27 early game with the immediate transition in the T-80s, which just well positioned, which is what Griffon has been doing, are like you have to start hunting them with Danas. Like the the opener advantage of having the numbers and having the recon helis, the recon drones, and then having the rocket helis as well. I think there was potential there. If Mjblair had managed to keep their air advantage up a few minutes longer, maybe like if there had been a single Su-27, not two of them, if there had been like extra OSAs, maybe the early game advantage could have actually kept on going even after the AT plane, or especially after the AT plane killed that T-80UD. But there really was the worst possible scenario in many ways after bad air engagements, and the Su-27s could get their free reign all over the map, just gunning down the good infantry that were supposed to be the basis from which First Divizia could actually start building. And this, maybe against some other division, maybe against against something that wasn't so overpoweringly powerful against T-72s. But alas, 119th was left unbanned. And even 79th would have probably been pretty decent counter here. But 119th especially, those T-80UDs, they are so insurmountable if you don't catch them out of position.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really the T80s that killed him. Yeah, they were just what blocked him then from once more doing anything after. Like, he lost the opener to things that were not T80s, especially the Mi-24K, that just got all the kills and kept and that took all the momentum away. And then a couple of ATGM's kills, like the Conquerors being able to kill so many units there in the north, including the CV that couldn't move into Sheraton's. His AA being killed off in the south by recon infantry, recon Spetsnaz, because they moved forward without any infantry in front of them. So 2 Yester cars going down there and stuff like that. Like, the amount of losses that Mjblair took in the early engagements without getting anything out of that and having to buy all that support equipment back so that he never had more like 3 T-72s on the battlefield. Like, the T-80Us didn't even play that much of a role outside of just, meaning that there was no chance of coming back in the late game, but the losses were in the early game to other things than T-80s.
Yeah, it was the air advantage, especially the Mi-24K, and then immediately losing all the helicopters that were dealing HE damage to the fighters. This was I believe the Su-27s were kind of hanging around on the bottom right corner, and then a MiG-23, very cheap, very low end fighter, went in and got a pretty lucky shot against one of the Su-27s, and then with the extra investment from Griffon, the second plane, that managed to seal the deal. And after that, no fighters tried to dive the Mi-24K. Nobody actually could keep up defenses in Sheraton. Like, if there had been like 2 infantry units left in Sheraton after that helicopter attack, maybe they could have delayed the infantry response from Griffon, and But alas, as we can see from the KDR, this was a collection of unfortunate incidences on Mjblair's part. Some of them skill-based, and others kind of just stacking problems that, especially having to rebuy all of that support again and again and again.
Yeah, and a really, really clean victory here in both games for Griffon. 2-1 KD here in this one. And yeah, Mjblair just not really getting a smooth game on the battlefield. Maybe being pressured a bit too much by the fear of what M119 does to him in the late game, and just overextending a couple too many times on the map, where even in the late game, like TDUDs, they can hold one spot on the map, but even in the late game saw here with Mjblair being behind half the points on the battlefield, he still was able to get some points on the scoreboard. Imagine what he could have done if he would have had equal amounts of points and make it wide. I think even like yes, heavy tanks can win the fights on this map, but they might not be able to win the map on its own. And Mjblair just running into a couple too many issues there early on, and Griffon really having a great entrance into the league. And with that, starting with 4 points here in this one. And yeah, well played. As Group B is going to be really interesting. Griffon looking really, really hot.
Yeah, I mean, Griffon maybe able to, who knows, maybe knock out Z-Vister early on, ZX Z-Vister. Mjblair could maybe practice a little bit. Let's get some wins in there. Let's drop Hippie and let's drop the streamers out of the group early on. It would be interesting to see. Unlikely, of course, but interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this all progresses here. Division 1, in general, really filled. The first time that we have it with 20 players, I'm quite excited to see how that all goes. More Division 1 games than ever, guys, for all of you to come. So that's going to be exciting. And yeah, if you want to get a bit more excited in all of this as well, guys, once more, Fantasy League is still open. So pick your teams, send them to FatKit in the Discord DMs, and get a bit more involved into all of this shenanigans. We will close it up at the end of the week. So yeah, get your team ready, get your guys in, and send them over to FatKit. Did I get some scoreboard points? Nope, because my Division 1 pick is Mix90. I believe in the mix. It's going to be fun. And yeah, once more, thanks for all the support on the Matcherino, guys. We're going to be back for you on Thursday with more WARNO League action. And yeah, this was a really good start. I'm absolutely hyped for the rest of the season. The pick and ban tool, massive improvement. And yeah, with that said, any last words from you? All right.
No, except that I am once again, as I always am, extremely excited over this next season. I am so into seeing the future of the T72 meta. T72 meta moving from the more aggressive Polish, maybe to the more kind of mid-game centered Soviet and Czech. I'm excited to see how people are going to. I don't subscribe to the apocalyptic 1,000-year T72 Reich, which is what some people are suspecting is going to happen. But it is true that it's not really possible to ban all of them. So there's always going to be risks, which means that certain divisions, such as the 5E for the French, is going to be naturally weaker, as well as the Spanish, and that might be an issue on the long term. But yeah, very excited in seeing maybe an airborne revival, maybe what the new maps could maybe kind of allow us a new kinds of divisional interactions that we can't even imagine yet. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, the map pool is interesting as well. With people playing it more on the leaderboard, they will also pick those new maps more, I believe, when they realize which ones of those are the favorites and aren't just scared away because they don't know them. So that's going to be exciting as well over the progression over next week. So absolutely happy with all of that. See you all on Thursday, guys. Thanks for watching. Now have some fun over at